Welcome back to a new episode of the AJ Show, and it is still Sonic's 30th anniversary. And we're here to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog on this Thanksgiving special of the AJ Show. That's right, I am thankful for the blue blur. Thankful for all the adventures of Sonic, even though there's a lot of misadventures in the modern era of Sonic the Hedgehog, but you cannot go wrong with the classics. I fell in love with the blue hedgehog back in 93. Didn't get the opportunity to play the games until 94. I did my review on Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on July 4th, basically signifying that, that's when I first played the game back in 94, 4th of July. Was that time, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And then I've been watching the commercials and ads for this, Sonic 3? Oh, who's this red character? I don't know who this one is. Is he playable? What do you mean there's a Sonic and Knuckles coming out shortly after? What's happening? All these questions to be answered on this episode of the AJ Show in this retrospect episode. So, as always, grab yourself a beverage, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles.
Presents one champion of good, one pawn of evil. It's Sonic and Knuckles. Not only is it the greatest Sonic game ever, it also comes with lock-on technology. Plug in Sonic 2 and use Knuckles to play in a whole new way. Plug in Sonic 3 for 34 megs of power, new worlds, and surprise endings. Sonic and Knuckles with lock-on technology, only on Sega Genesis. Sonic and Knuckles, other game cartridges, and Sega Genesis each sold separately.
I didn't get a Sega Genesis until Christmas of 1994, and that Genesis came packaged with Sonic the Hedgehog 2, though it came in a sandwich bag. It was odd. I don't know what happened there. And of course, shortly, probably within the next year or so, the Genesis bit the dust, and I think we had a bad one for some reason. But that's another story for another day. But that Christmas was the Christmas that I finally got the Genesis. And this was a time because at every holiday, or even our birthdays, we would go to the video rental store. Pop and Go Videos was the store we went to because 99-cent Wednesdays. And it was our favorite place to go to for video rentals back in the day. I'll do a video on video rentals another time. But this was the first time we ever got to rent Sega Genesis games. So we rented, of course, Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. They came out that year of 94. Sonic 3 came out in February 2nd of 1994. Sonic and Knuckles came out October 18th of 1994. And I saw the advertisements, I saw the magazine ads, and I was like, oh, I want to play it so bad. It looks so good. But again, the game was split in two due to time constraints, and so that's what they did. Both games are their own entity in a way. Sonic 3 had the first half of the game. Sonic and Knuckles was the second half of the game. Yeah, it was weird. And both games are different. One had different theme music, different music for the mini-bosses, different music for Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles, different music for the theme, mini-bosses, and of course Knuckles himself. And this is the first time that, just looking back at Sonic 3 alone. Let's look at Sonic 3 alone for a minute. Sonic 3 as a standalone is fabulous in its own way. It has a save feature. You can play Sonic, Tails, and Sonic and Tails together. Each character had their own unique special abilities. Tails can fly in this one. More into that a little bit later when we talk about the abilities of each character. But it felt unfinished. When you got to the ending of the game, it felt like, that's a weird cliffhanger. The Death Egg's falling in the sky. That's it. We're done. Rolling the credits theme. Oh, the credits theme on Sonic 3 is fabulous. I love the end credits theme on Sonic 3. It's so good. So good. But then you jump into Sonic and Knuckles. As the other half, the only two characters you can play is Sonic and Knuckles. And there was no save feature in this one. That kind of floored me a little bit because I'm like, why not have a save feature in this one? Don't understand that one. And some of the tracks got swapped out with like your mini boss theme and Knuckles' theme and of course the main theme. But when you lock it all together, those themes transfer over to the Sonic 3 side of things when you do the lock-on technology for the game. So, but let's stop for a minute. Let's talk about the story. What's happening in Sonic 3? Well, immediately following after Sonic 2, the Death Egg is destroyed. So we thought. So Sonic is rushing in to Angel Island, and he's going to put a stop to Dr. Eggman once and for all. And he just instantly transforms into Super Sonic, but lo and behold, he gets ambushed by Knuckles the Echidna, the newcomer of this game that everybody wanted to play. I want to be that guy. Oh, he's so cool looking. That was Knuckles' introduction. And he is so powerful, he basically knocks all the Chaos Emeralds out of Sonic, drops them on the ground. Knuckles scrambles to collect them all. Don't understand why he doesn't take the emeralds for himself and uses them. But no, instead he puts them back in the special stage zone for Sonic to recollect them again. In giant rings. This time is giant rings that you find in the stages to collect the Chaos Emeralds. And that's not the half pipe in this time. And it's not the spinning thing that you're in Sonic 1 to get the emeralds. No, it's Blue Sphere. Blue Sphere is my favorite special stage when it comes to Sonic games. So easy to do. Yeah, it took a lot of practice, of course, to get the Chaos Emeralds. But, you know, after 27 years of playing Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, I'm a pro at it. I can get all in one shot. Done. Basically, what's Knuckles' story in this game? Well, Knuckles gets duped by Dr. Eggman. The Death Egg has landed on the floating island on Launch Space Zone to get repairs. And he basically befriends Knuckles. And Knuckles is duped thinking that Sonic is the enemy. So it's Knuckles is distracted to keep Sonic away from the Master Emerald, while Eggman is focusing on repairs and getting his Death Egg up and running. So in the first half of the game, Knuckles is trying to stop Sonic. You know, you see these scenes where you encounter Sonic and Knuckles does some blowing up a bridge or stop Sonic here and there, you know, in different attempts to stop his movements. And of course, there's always the Dr. Eggman battles, the mini-boss battles in between each zone and act. And basically, you get to Launch Space Zone, you stop the Death Egg from fully launching up into space. The Death Egg falls back to Angel Island, crashes right above the Lava Reef Zone. So now, guess what? It is a race. It is a race to get to the Master Emerald. So you get the second half of the game. You're chasing after Eggman. Eggman's chasing after the Emerald, trying to get his Death Egg repaired. And it's not till, you know, you see the Death Egg. Lava Reef Zone is one of my favorite zones in Sonic and Knuckles half. Because when you get to the boss stage portion of it, you're falling because Knuckles shoved this big giant rock. You're falling and you get down to this lava area. Right above you is your Death Egg. Crash landed right there in this crater. And it just bright beam of lights. It heats up the entire area. The lava is active and everything. And here comes Eggman with missiles trying to stop it. It is an epic boss battle scene. It really is. It's one of my favorite scenes in this game. But then you get to the Hidden Palace Zone where you and Knuckles finally get to duke it out one-on-one. And next thing, the explosions over here. Eggman stealing the Master Emerald. Knuckles finally realizes what's really happening, that he's been duped. So now he's helping Sonic to reach the Death Egg Zone, and he gets to the Death Egg Zone through Sky Sanctuary and 3 different encounters with Mecha Sonic. Not Metal Sonic, but Mecha Sonic. So he's on board the Death Egg. He stops Dr. Eggman's plans. He goes into Doomsday Zone, where he's chasing after Eggman. Eggman still has the Master Emerald. You stop Eggman, you save the day, you destroy the Doomsday plans that Eggman has for the entire world. You return the Master Emerald to the floating island with Knuckles. And Knuckles is the guardian of the floating island. He's the guardian of the Master Emerald. And he's the last of his species. Not sure what happened to his species, but as it states, he's the last of his kind. He's the only echidna around in this whole world. And so, Knuckles has his own side story. It takes place after Sonic's story. So, that's a whole different story. So basically in that story, Knuckles, well, he faces Egg Robo, which you encounter these Egg Robos in Sky Sanctuary Zone. They're just one-hit kill enemies or badniks. But here he is flying Dr. Eggman's hovercraft, doing all these dastardly things. Of course, there's a couple instances where you do see it's Eggman really in disguise, you know, and he totally unveils himself in Flying Battery Zone. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was just a game design misstep right there. But there's times where I've glitched the game to where Eggman's face is exposed. So that's weird. But basically towards the end of Knuckles' story is you face Mecha Sonic, twice. You fight him regularly, and then you see that he's with the Master Emerald, and he charges himself up to become a super form, but it doesn't last long. It's just a temporary super form, and whenever he loses power, you get opportunity to take Mecha Sonic down before he recharges again, which he'll recharge a few times. You just have to watch his attacks and moves. But that's about it for that story there. So let's get into the gameplay. Let's get into the game mechanics of what makes Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles so special. What makes it so good? First up, let's talk about the game mechanics of it. The characters. Sonic, has the same moveset from Sonic 2, but now there's an added feature, the Insta-Shield. When you hit the jump button twice, it performs an Insta-Shield. So those spiked enemies that you hate dealing with? Yeah, you can kill them with the Insta-Shield if you just time it just right. Boop! Gone. They're gone. But also, the elemental shields come into play for Sonic. Now, the elemental shields, they have benefits for all the characters, but Sonic can utilize special moves from these. Only Sonic can do the special moves with these things. Because, one, Tails can fly in this game, or swim, or picks up Sonic. If you take the second controller on the Genesis or any other system you're playing, except for if you're playing it on here, if you play the Sonic Classic Collection, there's no two-player option in this thing. But you can take control of Tails with the second controller and kind of help Sonic out. Which, honestly, I wish because there's a fight scene in Marble Garden Zone, in the third zone of Sonic 3, where you're fighting Eggman in the air, and Tails is there helping you along. He's carrying you, and you can kind of control, you basically can move Tails around with carrying Sonic, and then you hit the jump button, Sonic jumps off Tails, strikes Eggman. I wish they utilize one of the buttons as a mechanic to where you can call Tails to come and carry you and take you to places. That would have been a cool feature to include, because they did that in Sonic 4 Episode 2, which I don't acknowledge that Sonic 4 at all because it's garbage. Knuckles can glide and climb walls and break special blocks. So, as far as the elemental shield is concerned, basically the lightning shield protects you from getting electrocuted, and also is a magnet to collect rings, which that's awesome. The water shield can help you breathe underneath water, which, yeah, that's awesome right there. For sure. If you hate Labyrinth Zone in Sonic 1, you're going to love the Bubble Shield. And then there's the Flame Shield, which basically protects you from fire, and you can walk on lava. But for Sonic has these special abilities with these elemental shields. So with the Lightning Shield, you do a double jump with it, and it kind of shoots little sparks out. The Water Shield, you can do a bounce, which bounces you up higher. And the Flame Shield turns you into basically a fireball. It's basically the precursor to Blast Attack of Sonic 3D Blast, or a precursor to the homing attack, because that's kind of what it is, even though it doesn't home in on enemies, but it's pretty much just like that. So I feel like that's kind of where they got the homing attack, is from this elemental shield alone. And it's like my favorite shield of all the shields. The Flame Shield is the one you want to get, even though the Lightning Shield would be the second option because of its benefits of collecting all the rings and being protected from lightning and be able to get the extra jump to hit higher up enemies and get to higher places. So those are the elemental shields in a nutshell. And you can find these in monitor boxes, which the monitor boxes have a different look. This time they're white and not like the gray boxes in Sonic 1 and 2. As I stated, this game's biggest feature is the lock-on technology with Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic 3 on top of Sonic and Knuckles gives you the entire meant-to-be experience of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And again, they swap out some of the music, like the MIDI bosses, Knuckles theme, and of course the main theme is the Sonic and Knuckles theme, but it boots up the Sonic 3 screen. So that's, compromises had to be made, so there you go. And I like that compromise that they made with some of that. Even though I do prefer the Sonic 3 theme musics better over Sonic and Knuckles, the Sonic and Knuckles theme music is still pretty good in its own right. But again, the lock-on feature gives you the ability to play Knuckles in the Sonic 3 game, because as standalone with Sonic 3, you don't get to play Knuckles. And you see these alternate paths that you can't reach, or, blocks that you can't break. Only Knuckles can do those. Only Knuckles can go through those routes. And so that kind of gives you a tease whenever, if, say, back in 1994, you get Sonic 3, but you haven't yet played Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic and Knuckles hasn't been released just yet, and you're wondering, how do I get to these areas? I feel like something's missing in this game. So basically, yeah, Sonic 3 as a standalone game, you're going to notice something's missing of this game. Like there's a missing character, or maybe it cliffhangs for you. So that's the beauty of the lock-on technology with Sonic and Knuckles. It completes that game, and it makes it into one massive super game. And then it introduces you to the Super Emeralds. Yeah, you thought the original 7 Chaos Emeralds was enough to make you a super form. Man, when you lock on that game, you unlock the Super Emeralds. You don't get the Super Emeralds until you reach Mushroom Hill Zone, and you see Knuckles, which some of the level design's a little bit altered because Mushroom Hill has a different altered beginning, where Knuckles is coming out of a closed-off area with a button, and you push the button to go in, and there's this giant warp ring, which now they're shinier. They have a big old glow this time around in the Sonic and Knuckles have. You go in there, you transport to Hidden Palace Zone, and then all your 7 Chaos Emeralds that you've collected in the first half of the game of Sonic 3 shows up in the Emerald Chamber, and all you have to do is just stand on one of the Chaos Emeralds, warps you to the special stage, and you collect the Super Emerald. So what does the Super Emeralds do? They turn you into hyper mode. Oh, like Hyper Sonic, Hyper Knuckles. And, with Tails, you didn't get a super form with the first 7 Chaos Emeralds. But you do with the Super Emeralds. You get a super form for Tails. And it is ridiculous. All right, so each form, of the hyper versions, they are practically invincible. They nuke everything. And I mean, they decimate Eggman. They destroy everything in its path. It is ridiculousness. I mean, the only way you could die is either you get crushed, fall in the pit, or if you run out of all your rings and then you get hit, or you somehow glitch your death. I've had death glitches happen a lot in this game because it's broken. Hyper Sonic and Hyper Knuckles and even Tails, they are so broken in this game, it makes the game practically so easy. So easy. But they're so fun to play. They're so fun to utilize. Tails, he has a flicky army of death flying around him, and basically all you have to do is just stand there, let the birds do the work. Tails checking his watch. Kind of yawn as the birds do all the work for you. They decimate Eggman in no time. That's the beauty of these Super Emeralds. The other cool thing about Sonic 3 that made it so innovative is the transitional scenes that you get with this game. So what do I mean by transitional scenes? Well, let's talk about going from Act 1 to Act 2. This introduces you to the mini-boss fights. Mini-boss fights are really cool in Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. And it's kind of a breath of fresh air because in the prior games, you just basically ran to the end of the act, you go through a sign, that was it. Now you have to fight a mini-boss, 6 hits on it, figure out his patterns or strategies, done. The sign drops in the air spinning, and basically you can hit the sign and try to place it wherever on the ground, you get a element box pop up or a ring box pop up. So hey, bonuses right there for you. You get the little scoring credits at the end, and then it transitions you into right where you're at. You start the second act right where you're at. It doesn't fade to black. You just start the next act, and the music is remixed, and you basically transition into a different background scenery. But then the other transitionals happen at the end of Act 2. After you defeat Eggman, you get this transitional scene, how you go to the next zone. So at Angel Island, after you defeat Eggman, you are sitting on this bridge, and there's Knuckles above with a button. He blows up the bridge. You fall down to Hydro City Zone. So Carnival Night. Let's say you go to Carnival Night Zone. You defeat Eggman. There's this cannon waiting for you. You blast out the cannon, and then you're flying into Ice Cap Zone, and you land on a snowboard, and Sonic is snowboarding. I thought this was the coolest thing that I've ever seen in the Sonic game. Sonic is snowboarding on these slopes. It is so cool, and I love that moment right there where you're just snowboarding. It's those transitional scenes right there that really makes the game help tell the story of what's going on. There's no dialogue or anything. It's just basically you see what's going on, you get the idea. It's that simplistic storytelling right there on how you figure out what's happening in the game. You get all these mini bosses, you get Eggman's fights, and really he stepped it up. He has absolutely stepped it up since his days from Sonic 1, Green Hill Zone, using a ball and chain to flatten that hedgehog. Yeah, he's out for blood this time. Eggman is out for blood when it comes to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. He's got all sorts of creative cool contraptions that he has in his arsenal. There's some mini bosses that you basically just have to figure out how to defeat them. Like, for example, the one on Flying Battery Zone, it's basically the egg capsule where you basically free the animals in. You hit the button and it awakens a robot inside of it with swinging spikes. And basically you have to try to get it to hit itself. That's one example right there for you on how not all mini bosses are the same. You don't just hit them 6 times and boom, they're done. No, some of them, they have a strategy to it on how to defeat them. And some of Eggman's, fights are kind of daunting at times, because there's one in Ice Cap Zone. Sometimes it gives me trouble if you don't have a super form or anything, you have to try to avoid getting frozen. That becomes a pain in the rear. Or the one at Carnival Night with the electromagnetic things. Make sure you have either the lightning shield for that one or be super form, because it gets hard at times whenever you're trying to defeat that one. And Death Egg Zone lives up to its name. You fight Eggman 4 times in Act 2, but then this leads you into Doomsday Zone, where you're in Supersonic the entire time. You got to try to collect rings to stay alive, and you fight Eggman 2 more times until the game is over. And that's pretty awesome right there. Makes it one of the best epic endings of a Sonic game of all time, in my opinion. But overall, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, like I said, it's my favorite game of all time. It's number 1 in my rankings. And for the reasons, because it introduces a lot of new elements, a new stuff like the mini bosses, remix themes of Act 1 and Act 2, different badniks in there, introducing Knuckles, the elemental shields, and just the story arc overall on how it tells the story makes it a masterpiece. But right up there next to it is Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania, oh my goodness, it's so good. It is so good. It is right up there with Sonic 3. It could honestly easily take number 1 spot. But I'm leaving Sonic 3 and Knuckles in the number 1 spot because of its nostalgia, because it's classic, because of what it introduces. Putting Sonic Mania right up there in number 2, but close to number 1. So that's where I see Sonic 3 and Knuckles as a whole when it comes to the Sonic series. Again, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Stay safe out there. Enjoy your time with friends and family. And take care.